Welcome back to another episode of Monthly Mint. Each month, I show my portfolio and tell you how everything is going and the progress on how it's going to look going forward. So you can see right here that the total value is $325,244. With my investment of $233,000, it has grown substantially. $91,261 of profit with an IRR of 58.87% and a passive income of 22.68%. So far, I am yielding $73,753.34 annually. So you can see when you go down here, my top gainers for today was HHIS, BIGY, HBTE, QQCL, and USCL. Now, if we look at our analytics, we can go over everything here from my holdings. So BIGY, BIGY, I have 1,293 shares. My cost per share is $25.99 with a cost basis of $33,612. The current value is sitting at $34,654, so it is up a little bit. Now, you can also see that the dividends is producing $9,698, and the yield is 27.99%, but the yields will change daily. The next one up is HBIX. I am holding 2.93 shares, and cost per share is $14.38, and my cost basis $42.19. You can see that the yield is sitting at 22.48%. This is going to be my largest holding. It is HHIS from Harvest. It is a diversified fund holding all tech. I have 20,484 shares. My cost per share is $12.50. My cost basis is $256,000. And the current value is $289,000. You can see the dividends that it's producing is $63,911 a year, and that is annually of 22%. The next one here is CANY from Evolve, 2.2 shares. My cost per share is $25.51. Cost basis $58.19. The dividends is $12.45, and the yield is 21.18%. The next one I have here is HBTE. I have 2.1 shares, $23.98. My cost base is $52.50. And the dividends I'm receiving, $11.30, with an annual yield of 19.13%. Another favorite of mine is UTES from Evolve. This is the Canadian Utility Enhanced product. I have 4.46 shares. My cost per basis is $9.49. My current value is sitting at $40.93. And my dividends per year, $7.38, with an annual yield of 18.04%. Next up, we have RSCL. This is Global X Enhanced Russell 2000 covered call with leverage. I have 3.89 shares. My cost per share is $23.69. The current value is $94.63. I'm getting $16.11 a year for dividends, and my yield is 17.02%. The next one I have is HHIC, ECHI. This is from 9-Point Enhanced Canadian High Shares, and that is 3.96 shares. And I have cost per share is $10.92. And I got the dividends at $7.12 with an annual yield of 16.09%. Another one of my favorites here is Bank from Evolve Canadian Banks. It is 4.77 shares. My cost per share is $8.85. The current value is $43.13. My dividends are $6.29, and the annual yield 14.59%. QQCL, the Global X Enhanced NASDAQ 100 covered call with leverage. I have 3.72 shares. My cost per share is $24. The dividends I'm receiving, $14.05, and the annual yield, 14.4%. Another heavy hitter for Canada is HHIC, and this is the Harvest Canadian High Income Shares. This also has leverage. The shares I have are 14.47, and I am getting $27.78 for my dividends, and it yields 14.19%. From Purpose, we have ETHY. This is the Purpose Ether Yield ETF, and it is the .B version, so it's unhedged to Canada. I have 7.5 shares, and my current dividends are $4.69 with a yield of 14.02%. Next is USCL. This is the Global X Enhanced US Large Cap Equities with leverage. There is 3.98 shares. The average cost is $23.16. I'm getting $11.70 for dividends, and my yield is 12.28%. HYLD, I have 6.37 shares. Cost per share, $14.48. My dividends, I'm receiving $11.69, and the yield annually is 12.18%. That last one here I have is Hamilton Enhanced Multi-Sector. This is HDIV. I have 2.09 shares. I got it at an average of $20.12. And my dividends I'm receiving $4.53 monthly. And my yield is 10.72%. Now let's scroll up to the top and have a look at the calendar and see how much I'm going to be getting for distributions going forward. 22.69% is the average yield, with $73,753 would be my annual distributions, and that comes out to $6,146 monthly. Now you can see right here the chart. My biggest payer would be BIGY from Evolve, and it's HBIX, which is a Bitcoin. That's all tech. CANY, that's all your Canadian equity. HBTE, that's your Harvest Bitcoin Leaders Enhanced Income. This is actually a really good fund for a long-term hold. Then we have UTES, which is your utility. RSCL, that is going to be your Russell 2000. Then we have another Canadian high income from 9point. Bank, which is going to be the Canadian banks. QQCL, which is your NASDAQ 100. HHIC, which is your Canadian one as well. ETHY, which is from Purpose, that's going to be the Ethereum covered call with leverage soon. Right now it's just covered call. USCL, which is Global X Enhanced. And we have HYLD and HDIV. Now, when we look at the holdings by size, you can see that HHIS is by far my largest holding at 86.7%, and then it trickles down all the way. So my strategy is I put all my money into HHIS, has the highest distribution. Every time I get my distributions, then I filter them into the other 15 ETFs that I hold, and that will diversify me over time. This strategy lets my profile grow, and I get my monthly income at a higher amount each month. So now let's have a look at the dividends received. You can see I've so far received $43,561.01. Starting from March, I was at 4.3K. April, I was at 5.1K, May 5.6K, June 5.7K, then I was at July 5.8K, then August 5.5, and that's because I was doing some restructuring to my portfolio. Now that I've restructured it, it has gone back up again. So September 5.6K and October 5.9K. Now let's have a look at the growth of my portfolio. So you can see here that the blue line is me. That's my portfolio. The orange line is the NASDAQ 100, and the purple line is where I've invested. So you can clearly see that this is outperforming the NASDAQ 100, and it says right here, I've outperformed 14%. So I'm up $40,452. Now this is leveraged, so when the markets go up, your portfolio is going to outperform, but when the markets go down, it's going to underperform. But that's okay because you get shares at a cheaper cost, which increases your income in the long run. Here's just another portfolio performance showing everything as I've been investing over this time frame, and it's slowly trickling up. And if we go down here, you can go down to the dynamics of the portfolio for your returns. So you got February, March, red, April, May, June, July, they were all green. August was a little bit red, and September, October, and November will be green. And this is the holdings for the best performers. And you can clearly see HHIS is the best performer out of all. Now let's have a look at the metrics here. The TWR is sitting at 23.87%. I have the volatility, which is sitting right here with my portfolio, right next to the Sleep Easy. Then we have the risk adjust. It is way down here, which is totally fine with me. Then at the bottom left here, we have the risk adjust return for the Sartino's ratio. And right over here where the smiley happy face is with the sunglasses, that's where my portfolio is sitting. And as you can see, my goal is to get 200,000 annually in dividends. So far, I'm 37% of the way there. It's 73,000.75K. So it says I roughly have 5 more years, but this will be getting shorter because I'm going to be investing more heavily into this. So my passive income should be cut down to roughly 3 years. Now, this is my passive income journey to be financially free. So one day I will not have to rely on my job, and this will fund my lifestyle, fund my retirement, and I will always have to reinvest a portion of what I get to grow my income because of inflation. So I do not factor in living 100% off my income, always have to reinvest. But that being said, you always have to do your own due diligence, do your own homework, and look into this yourself because this is definitely not financial advice. This is just a journey to show that what can be done on the stock market using covered call with leverage. As always, we'll see you in the next video.